Okay, you guys, no, because this story is one of those that feels unreal the more you sit with it. Because it didn't start with chaos, it didn't start with screaming lives or exposed DMs. It started with what looked like the most stable, long term, grew up together influencer marriage on the app, quietly cracking behind the scenes. This is about Desmond and Kristy. And yes, that Desmond and Kristy. The couple people used as proof that young love could actually work, that growing up together didn't always end badly, that social media couples weren't all doomed. And that's exactly why, when news of Kristy filing for divorce came out, people didn't just gasp, they froze, because the math was not mathing at all. They had just celebrated 10 years of marriage. 10. A whole decade. And they had just moved into a luxury house that they built together for about 3 years. They were posting happy content. They were talking about laughter, fun, spontaneity, not taking life too seriously. Everything looked solid. So when divorce papers entered the chat, the collective reaction was basically, be so for real right now. So let's slow this all the way down because this story is layered, emotional, and messy in the way only influencer breakups can be. And I am going to walk you through everything: the background, the content dynamics, the divorce details, Desmond's statement, the public reaction, the theories, and the uncomfortable questions that nobody has answers to yet. Kristy and Desmond are not a new couple at all, like not even a little bit. This is not a we met online during lockdown situation or a we dated for 6 months and went viral type of relationship. These two have known each other since they were 14 years old, which is middle school age. Locker slamming, homework stress, teenage crashes, the whole awkward starter pack of life. They didn't just grow up together online, they actually grew up together in real life, which already makes people look at their relationship like, okay, this one might actually be different. Fast forward 4 years, and in 2014, Kristy is 19, Desmond is 20, and they decide to get married and officially became the Scots. And let's pause right there, because at 19 and 20, most people are still trying to figure out who they are, what they like, and why adulthood feels like a scam. But these two were committing to forever: bills, vows, responsibility, all of it. So from the jump, their story already felt intense, serious, and very grown up for their age. They go on to have 2 sons together, and something people consistently gave them credit for is how they handled their kids online. They tried as much as possible to keep their children's faces off social media, or at least not make them the focus of their content. In an influencer space where oversharing is basically the norm, that choice stood out, and people genuinely respected them for it. Outside of social media, they also built a business together, a wedding videography production company called Meant to Be Films. And listen, I am saying this softly, with care, but that name now feels a little cursed in hindsight because the irony is doing backflips at this point. Individually, both of them have massive platforms. Kristy's TikTok account, Kristy Sarah, sits at around 17.2 million followers, which is not so small by any definition. Desmond has his own TikTok with about 1.5 million followers, and altogether they had a joint account called The Squats with roughly 4.9 million followers, an account that has since been changed just to Kristy Sarah. And yes, before anyone even said anything, the internet noticed immediately because nothing changes quietly on TikTok, especially not when a breakup is brewing. Now, this part really matters because their content dynamics is a huge reason people are taking this breakup so personally. Like it didn't just end a relationship, it ended a comfort show for some people. If you spent even 5 minutes on Desmond's TikTok, you know the vibe was calm, soft, almost therapeutic. Cooking videos, recipes, him in the kitchen making meals like he was auditioning for the role of peaceful husband number one. He used to say cooking for Kristy was his favorite way of telling her he loved her, which at the time felt sweet and domestic and very much giving. This is how I show up in the relationship. Kristy barely popped up on his page, and when she did, it was low-key. No chaos, no yelling, no pranks. His page wasn't loud or flashy. It was soothing. Comfort content, and people always clocked this detail too. On TikTok, Desmond only followed one person, and that was Kristy, which, at the time, people ate up because it screamed loyalty and a ton of vision. Now flip over to Kristy's page, because that's where the energy completely changes. Her content was intentionally chaotic in the fun way. Goofy behavior, pranks, fashion moments, creative outfits, full self-expression with zero fear. She was always doing something unexpected, unusual, dragging Desmond into it, and his reaction? That loud, uncontrollable wheezing laughter became a core part of their brand. Watching them together felt fun. It felt like they actually enjoyed being around each other. Kristy surprising him, Desmond laughing like he couldn't breathe, the whole thing coming off light, playful, and genuinely happy. People really thought they had cracked the code on how to stay entertained in a long marriage. And that's exactly why this breakup feels like emotional whiplash, because in real time, it felt like we were watching a couple having fun in their marriage, two people quietly drifting apart while the camera kept rolling. While the relationship looked fun and stable in line, Kristy's personal career was quietly going into overdrive, like the kind of overdrive where your calendar starts looking scary and your email inbox never slips. She wasn't just getting random influencer opportunities either. She was landing real fashion brand deals, the kind that come with flights, glam teams, and rooms where everyone is pretending not to look at each other's stuff while absolutely judging them. She was showing up at New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, the Victoria's Secrets Fashion Show, the VMAs, Dolce and Gabbana events, not the influencer side rooms, but the big rooms, the ones people whisper about. Then 2023 hits and Kristy gets named to Forbes 30 under 30 for social media influencers, which is one of those achievements that quietly changes how people see you. It's not just a flex, it's a stamp, industry approval, career defining energy. At that point, Kristy was fully booked, fully busy, and very clearly in her prime era. Her brand was growing fast, her visibility was increasing by the day, and whether people want to admit it or not, that kind of momentum can shift the balance in a relationship. Not because success is bad, but because not everyone knows how to stand next to it without feeling some type of way. In August 2024, Kristy and Desmond celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary, and they did not treat it like a quiet little dinner situation. No, they threw a full-on glamorous, floral-themed party, the kind that says, "We made it," the kind where everything is curated, aesthetic, and very intentionally public. This wasn't low-key love, this was look at us love. They were openly talking about focusing on having fun, laughing all the time, keeping things light, being spontaneous, and finding humor in everyday life, which at the time sounded healthy, sweet, and honestly very convincing. And the thing is, it actually looked like they were succeeding. From middle school sweethearts to 10 years married with 2 kids, it felt like a full circle moment that people love to root for. The kind of milestone that makes strangers online feel weirdly proud of people they never met. Like, wow, love really can survive growth, change, and the internet. Around the exact same time, they also finally moved into their own house, the house they had been building together for about 3 years. Their dream home, the kind of house you don't just move into, you arrive at. The house they were supposed to grow old in, raise their kids in, and film countless cozy family moments in. From the outside looking in, they were living the dream in high definition. Which is why what happens next feels so surreal. Because all of this, the party, the vows, the house, the laughter talk, collapses so fast it gives whiplash. 1 minute, it's anniversary florals and dream house content. And the next minute, divorce papers exists. No slow fade, no public warning, just a hard, confusing job that makes you sit back and go, wait, how did we get here so quickly?
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always
always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, knock the roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness, hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you.
Now here's where things really take a turn, because the public didn't find out about this divorce from Kristy. They didn't find out from Desmond. There was no soft launch, no joint statement, no sad piano notes in the background. They found out from TMZ. Yes, TMZ. The same outlet that never knocks, never whispers, and never waits for feelings to be processed. One day, the timeline is anniversary flowers and dream house vibes, and the next day, TMZ drops an article saying the popular social media couple has split over alleged infidelity. Alleged. According to court documents they say they obtained from Harris County, Texas. Those documents reportedly stated that Kristy cited alleged infidelity as the reason she filed for divorce, saying it completely wiped out any reasonable chance of reconciliation, which is legal language, but in plain English, it basically means, yeah, there was no coming back from this. The paperwork also notes that the couple would soon stop living together as husband and wife, and honestly, that single sentence alone was enough to shatter the entire illusion people had been holding on to. Because once paperwork enters the chat, it's no longer speculation, it's real. And just like that, the image cracked. Not slowly, not gently, it shattered.
So the internet's going crazy right now because the Scotts, popular social media couple, split over alleged infidelity. And people are acting surprised. And let me tell you why you shouldn't be. I've seen lots of comments, people saying things like, I need to see the woman that he cheated with. I bet you she can't be as pretty, as smart, as intelligent, as popular. It doesn't matter. How many pretty women have to get cheated on? Beyonce, Nia Long, Halle Berry, Megan Fox. It's not about the looks. It's not about the money. It's not about the education. The person who they cheat with usually just offers them the 20% they feel like their wife is missing. She doesn't have to be better. Most of the time, she isn't. Sometimes a man cheats on a woman who has it all together because that woman has it all together. And they feel insecure and inferior standing next to that woman. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but I'm saying there's any number of reasons why a successful, popular, beautiful woman gets cheated on. And it doesn't always have to be because the other girl is prettier. We have all these comments talk about, I don't believe in love anymore. Love is fake. Y'all say the same thing every time a pretty woman gets cheated on. Love is not fake, but some people do put their best foot forward when making couples content is how they make a living. Sometimes there is a pressure to perform happiness when your happy relationship is a key part of your business and how you make your money, how you support your children. And even with all that being said, who's to say that it wasn't real? At least for her. Not all men can handle the spotlight of being as popular as he is and all the women that come with it. Sometimes the person that they fall for isn't even a fan of theirs, she's a fan of their wife.
For a lot of people, Kristy and Desmond weren't just another influencer couple. They were inspirational. People openly say they made them believe in love, believe in young marriages, believe that growing together didn't always end badly. So this news didn't just surprise people, it disappointed them in a deep, personal way, like watching your favorite comfort show get cancelled without warning. And if the internet felt that shaken, it's not hard to think about how heavy this must be for their children and for Kristy and Desmond themselves after spending most of their lives side by side, only to end up here with everything unraveling in the most public way possible. Once the news broke, fans immediately went to their pages looking for answers. Desmond's most recent video was him cooking, as usual, making homemade ice cream. Kristy's most recent video was her making banana bread. Yes, people noticed that immediately because Desmond was always the one cooking for her. People also went back through Kristy's page to see when Desmond was last featured. The last appearance was in early December when Desmond showed off Kristy's face as a new Labubu he had gotten. The comment sections were ruthless. And at Desmond's videos, people wrote things like, had all the ingredients at home and still went out looking, and gone and move out of that lady's house right now. Got the nerve to be making ice cream in that lady's kitchen. Others demanded a statement, saying he was avoiding the situation with comments like, look at him dodging the comments like he could have dodged that girl, and so you're dodging the comments like you dodged loyalty?
Y'all gonna hate me for this, but I'm not surprised that Desmond cheated on Kristy. Baby, I seen that come up from a mile away. When you are a booked, busy, successful woman at that, and granted, he's successful too. But if you look at the account, she's literally doing all the other work. All of the videos, all of the funny pranks, all the videos that make us laugh. So of course everyone's going to be in her DMs trying to book her. I remember one day I was scrolling through her account and I was like looking at the videos and I was looking at all these events that she goes to. And then in my head, I'm like, who is filming these videos? Is Desmond even there? Like, he probably out cheating right now. Once you give men a little bit of space, they make a lot of motherfucking space. To the point where it's taking up your space. Now, granted, it's so nice to be in a relationship, but man, is it nice to be single. It is so nice to be single. You can't, I'm telling y'all, y'all think she working now? Maybe after this divorce, she going, she going to the motherfucker. She thinks she up now. She thinks she up now. Somebody gonna snatch her up. Somebody, a celebrity, a A-list celebrity might snatch her up. I'm not even...
The internet was not gentle. Eventually, Desmond addressed the situation in a statement posted on his Instagram. He apologized to Kristy, their family, and everyone impacted by the public attention surrounding the situation. He acknowledged that the news was disappointing and said he was sorry for the hurt it caused. He emphasized that Kristy is the mother of his children and that he remains fully committed to being an active, present, and loving parent to their boys. Then he said something that mattered. He explained that too at the end of 2025, he wanted to separate and had conversations with Kristy about it. During that period, he admitted that he made choices he is not proud of, that he took responsibility for those actions, shared them with Kristy directly, and that they ultimately decided to divorce. He asked for privacy and compassion as they navigate this chapter and said he would continue sharing his love for cooking. Without going into detail, Desmond confirmed the cheating. Not explicitly, not graphically, but enough to make it clear. So far, Kristy has not addressed the situation publicly. No statement, no explanation, no response. And honestly, that silence makes complete sense. Because if you really sit with it, Kristy is not just dealing with a breakup, she's dealing with the end of a 16-year relationship that started when she was basically a kid. This isn't a fling ending. This is her whole adult life changing shape all at once. She's processing betrayal, a marriage ending, 2 kids who still need stability, a home they just moved into, a shared business, and millions of strangers online demanding answers like this is a group project. So no, the silence doesn't feel calculated or strategic or like some influencer just move. It feels like someone who got hit too much at once and chose to step back instead of performing pain for the internet. It feels like protecting her peace, protecting her kids, and taking a breath before saying anything she can't take back. In this one moment, silence doesn't read as avoidance. It reads as healing. Now, with all of this out in the open, people have started rewatching old videos very differently. And suddenly, the vibes are not vibing the way they used to. Clips that once felt funny and light are now being paused, replayed, zoomed in on, and analyzed like people are writing a dissertation titled, "Something was off and we missed it." One of the biggest things people keep bringing up is Desmond's iconic laugh. Back then, it was part of the charm. Loud, uncontrollable, a wheezing laughter that made everything Kristy did feel 10 times funnier. But now, a lot of viewers are saying it looks forced in hindsight, like the kind of laugh you do when you're trying to keep the peace or push through a moment you're not fully in anymore. Some people think it started out real and slowly became performative, while others feel like it was genuine once and then turned into something he felt obligated to deliver for the camera. People are also pointing out that in more recent videos, the laugh was barely there at all. He looked tired, less amused, less engaged, like someone who is mentally checked out but still showing up because the routine hasn't broached to it. No matter how many think pieces get written in the comment section, cheating is still cheating. It's the kind of betrayal that cuts through every excuse, every what if, and every hypothetical. And that's why this part of the story hits so hard for so many people. And this is where the questions start stacking up. Because once the shock wears off, reality kicks in and people start wondering what actually happens next. What happens to the dream house they just moved into? The one that took 3 years to build and was supposed to be their forever home? Does someone move out quietly, or does it turn into another symbol of everything that fell apart? Then there is the joint business, the wedding photography company they built together. Does that keep running like nothing happened? Or does it become another thing that has to be split, negotiated, and emotionally unpacked? Because working together after divorce sounds cute in theory, but in real life, that's a lot. People are also wondering if they are living separately right now, how co-parenting is going to look, and whether we are officially witnessing the end of the Scots as a brand, not just as a couple. And of course, the biggest lingering question everyone keeps circling back to is whether Kristy will ever speak publicly, or if this chapter is going to close without her saying a word. Right now, nobody actually knows. There are no clear answers, no clear endings, just a lot of open tabs and unfinished sentences, which somehow feels very on brand for how this entire situation has unfolded. This is sad, it's messy, and it's a reminder that what we see online is never the full story. I hope Kristy continues thriving. I hope their children are protected, and I hope both of them find peace on separate paths. That is it. That's the chaos. End of group chat.